Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name's Michelle Honey, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Lucy Westbrooke. Lucy is going to be contributing to this project that looks at the nursing informatics development, implementation, and evaluation over time. And we're going to be asking Lucy to share her personal accounts and experiences as an international expert. So thank you for joining me today, Lucy. And my first question to you is, could you briefly describe the journey you have had in informatics?
Thank you, Michelle. It's lovely to be here. I started off as a clinical nurse in general medical surgical and progressed on to being a charge nurse and a supervisor. When I was a charge nurse, the ward rosters were quite a problem. So I started investigating whether these could be computerized. All the research that I did at the time showed me that there was nothing here in New Zealand, no computers that were actually capable of doing that. But it whet my interest that actually computers could help us there. So after a number of years as a supervisor, I was starting to see computers coming in to the hospitals. And I thought, oh, clinical people need to be involved with this. But I had no idea initially how to get there. But was actually very fortunate that the principal nurse that I reported through realized that I had this interest and approached the information systems department. So I managed to move into the information systems department at the time the first patient administration system was being implemented. So I came in partway through an implementation and joined Robin Carr, who was leading that and things. So that was great to be across there. Also around that time, or just before, the first nursing informatics group here in New Zealand was established, Nursing Informatics New Zealand, and I was involved from the beginning of that. So that was a group of nurses that we were all learning and teaching each other various things at that stage. So I've worked in the informatics field ever since moving across in a variety of roles, implementation analyst roles, clinical informatics specialist, telehealth program manager. So quite a variety of things. But one of the very important things was the involvement that I had outside of my work environment with the informatics community. But, initially nursing informatics, and then being part of forming the New Zealand-wide Health Informatics New Zealand that is now in operation. And then going on to the IMIA and representing New Zealand. So it's been quite a wide journey.
That's great. So you've covered your clinical background and your work in informatics and touched on your international involvement with informatics. What other areas of informatics, and I guess what I'm really asking, and this is because I know, you actually chaired IMIA-NI.
Yes, I did. I followed Robin Carr as the New Zealand rep on IMIA-NI, and then later chaired the group, following on from Hoane Park when she stepped down, and I continued on until Diane Skiba took over from me, and it was absolutely amazing to be able to chair this international group and the wide expertise of everyone around the table, and the collaboration was just fabulous.
That's excellent. And what a variety of people that you've met through that journey. Who have been the people who have inspired, mentored, or you've mentioned some who've travelled along the journey with you, but those who've inspired and mentored you perhaps?
I think the first one I have to mention is Robin Carr. Robin was the person that established nursing informatics here in New Zealand. And then I was really fortunate to be able to go and work with Robin in the informatics environment and implementing systems, designing systems. And she got me involved with the international community, and IMIA-Medinfo got me involved for presenting at conferences, all the way through. She believed in me, even if I was thinking, oh no, this is beyond what I'm capable of. She really, really inspired me. And you also, Michelle, were there on that journey with me and have been a real inspiration. And we've done a number of presentations together, both nationally and internationally, and worked really closely together. Diane Skiba is another person that has totally inspired me and has been such a support to me over the years and things. But everyone on the journey, all the people that I have worked with in IMIA and I on the committees, Huane Park, Haima Marin, Virginia Saba, Evelyn Holvanger. There's just too many to mention, but yeah, they've all been inspirations and all been supports.
We have been very lucky to have had these wonderful people who've preceded us in informatics,
yes,
as our role models.
Yes, and Marianne Ball coming to New Zealand right at the beginning, that actually spurred us on for the creation of the Nursing Informatics Group. She was a real inspiration as well.
Amazing, isn't it, when you look back? So out of everything, what would you say are the most rewarding aspects of your informatics work?
I think seeing the improvements in equity in the patient outcomes by the use of the systems, and using it in the clinical sense. That has been much harder than the patient administration side of things, which is what we've tended to concentrate on. But it's actually a combination of both, that the patient administration systems, the clinical systems, that actually assist our patients to improve their health outcomes and actually access healthcare. The changing models of care that the technology has supported, and working with the business to actually understand what's the current business problem that they're trying to solve. Okay, how is the IT and the information going to assist us in supporting that new model of care and things? That's been great. And I've worked with some absolutely fabulous people right the way across, not only healthcare professionals, but the IT professionals as well. And a lot of what I do is translate.
And what I hear is that you've still got that nursing and patient-centered focus. You may be working in information systems, but it's still all about the patients.
It is. And my current role is clinical informatics specialist. And actually, this is the first time in the last couple of years that that job title has actually come in. I've been doing that all the way through, regardless of the titles that I've held in my roles. It is about getting those outcomes for the patient, and nursing and the ability to communicate with a huge range of people is such an asset when you're working across technology and healthcare professionals, patients and whānau.
So given all that, what do you think are the biggest challenges that you've faced?
Things feel too slow. I want to have an outcome a lot faster than our business and our systems and processes can actually cope with. So much of what I've done has actually been the first times we're doing these, the leading things, and though I've felt that slow, when I look back, I see now how much has been achieved. And it's it's funny to me for seeing people that haven't known what I've done in the past come in, and they're doing and expanding on all of that stuff. And you think, yes, actually, we did the right thing. And they think it's their wonderful new ideas, but actually we've done all that groundwork, and that's why they can now implement this in practice. And that's really good. I think one of the other really big frustration is funding, and how do you fund what we want to do, and what is best to do. And particularly, it's very hard for nurses often to get funding. A lot of funding for new things goes towards medical side of things, but how do you get nurses up front there being supported to be able to implement changes, undertake research, attend and international conferences? That is really frustrating, and we've used lots of different workarounds and ways to try and get around that.
Great. So just then, my final question. So if you were thinking of the next generation of informatics nurses coming through, or somebody who's looking perhaps in this direction, what advice would you have for them?
I'd say believe in yourself and value all the experience that you already have. When I first moved across into the IS field, I felt like a fraud. I thought, oh, I don't know anything. Actually discovered I knew a lot more, and actually what they needed me for wasn't what they could do, the actual IT detailed stuff. It was the clinical, it was the translation, it was working to make sure that what was being produced was fit for purpose. So value yourself, network, and get involved, not only in the places that you're working, so to move into informatics roles, but the national and the international community. There are so many openings, and there's so much variety in informatics. There's no one size fits all, or there's no one path at all. And if you get the opportunity to study to reinforce what you've been doing, take that opportunity.
Oh, that's really good advice. Lucy, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. I think there's a lot of really good information in there, and it comes from all your own experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much too.